The day I retired, my daughter-in-law said, "I'm selling your car. You won't need it anymore." I just smiled. The next morning, my car was gone. Not because she took it, but because I gave it away to someone who truly deserved it. That was 3 months ago. Now I'm standing in the back of a hotel ballroom, watching my son Thomas get married to that same woman, Victoria, and I can feel the weight of every mistake I've made settling on my shoulders like snow in winter. The champagne flows, the music swells, everyone's dancing, laughing, pretending we're one big happy family. But I see the way Victoria looks at me across the room. I'm 62 years old. I spent 35 years building a consulting firm that advised Fortune 500 companies on crisis management. I made millions, lost most of it in a divorce and some bad investments. What's left, I kept quiet about. My kids think I'm broke, barely scraping by on Social Security and a small pension. They have no idea. Thomas works in private equity now, makes good money. Victoria's a corporate lawyer. Together, they pull in maybe $400,000 a year. Nice life, nice apartment in the city, but it's never enough for her. I watch them cut the cake. Victoria feeds Thomas a piece, and he grins like an idiot. My son, my boy, he used to build model airplanes with me in the garage. Now he can't even look me in the eye. The reception winds down. Guests start leaving. I'm about to slip out when Victoria appears beside me, her wedding dress rustling like snakeskin. "We need to talk," she says. "About what?" "Your apartment." I look at her, really look at her. She's beautiful, I'll give her that. Dark hair, sharp features, cold eyes. The kind of beautiful that's dangerous. "What about it?" "Thomas and I have been thinking. You're living alone in that 2-bedroom place. It's too much for you. We could help you find a nice studio somewhere cheaper, and we could take over your lease. The location is perfect for Thomas's commute." I feel something shift inside me, something old and familiar. The same feeling I got when a client would try to lowball me, thinking I was too stupid to notice. "That's generous," I say, "but I'm fine where I am." Victoria's smile tightens. "Dad." She started calling me that. I hate it. "Be reasonable, you're retired. You don't need all that space. And honestly, with your fixed income, wouldn't it be better to downsize? Save some money?" Around us, the remaining guests are chatting, oblivious. Thomas is across the room laughing with his groomsmen. He has no idea this conversation is happening. "I'll think about it," I say. "Actually, we need an answer tonight." "Excuse me." Victoria steps closer. Her perfume is overwhelming. "We've already put in an application for the lease transfer. We just need you to sign off on it. The landlord is ready to approve it tomorrow." I feel my jaw tighten. "You did what?" "Don't make this difficult. You know it makes sense. Just give me your keys and we'll handle everything. You can stay with us for a few weeks while we find you something more suitable." The music has stopped. A few people are looking our way now, sensing tension. "No," I say quietly. "What?" I said no. That's my home. I'm not giving it up. Victoria's face changes. The mask slips for just a second, and I see real anger underneath. "You're being selfish. Thomas and I are starting our lives together. We need that apartment. You're just one old man. Why do you need 2 bedrooms? Victoria." "Give me the keys." "No." She reaches into her clutch and pulls out a set of documents. "I have the papers right here. You just need to sign. Stop being stubborn." I take a step back. "This is your wedding day. Let's talk about this later." "There's nothing to talk about. You're going to sign these papers and give me those keys or what?" The ballroom has gone quiet. Everyone's watching now. Thomas is walking toward us, his face confused. Victoria's voice rises. "Or I'll make sure everyone here knows exactly what kind of selfish, ungrateful man you really are. Thomas has done everything for you. He pays for your groceries. He covers your medical bills. And this is how you repay him? By refusing to help us when we need it?" "That's a lie. Thomas hasn't paid for a damn thing. but I can see it in the faces around me. People are believing her. "Mum, what's going on?" Thomas says, arriving at Victoria's side. "I never remarried." Thomas still calls me Mum sometimes, even though I'm his father. Old habit from when he was little and confused about pronouns. "Your father is refusing to give us his apartment," Victoria says. Her voice is sweet now, wounded. "We just asked if he'd consider downsizing so we could take over his lease, and he's being completely unreasonable." Thomas looks at me. "Dad, is that true?" She didn't ask. She demanded, and she did it without talking to me first. "Because we knew you'd be difficult about it," Victoria snaps. Thomas puts his hand on her arm. "Babe, maybe we should—" "No." Victoria shakes him off. She's staring at me now, and there's something ugly in her expression. "I am so sick of this. You act like you're doing us some favor just by existing. You're a burden, Frank. You're old, you're broke, and you're in the way. The least you could do is help your own son." The words hang in the air like smoke. I open my mouth to respond, and Victoria slaps me. The sound cracks through the room like a gunshot. My face stings. My ears ring. For a moment, I can't breathe. No one moves. No one speaks. Victoria's hand is still raised, trembling. Her eyes are wide, but not with regret, with triumph. "You disrespectful old man," she hisses. I touch my cheek, feel the heat there. Look at my son. Thomas is staring at his new wife, mouth open. But he doesn't say anything. He doesn't defend me. He just stands there. I lower my hand, take a breath. "Congratulations on your marriage," I say quietly. Then I turn and walk out of the ballroom. Behind me, I hear voices rising. Confused chatter. Someone asking if I'm okay. But I don't stop. I push through the hotel lobby, out into the cold night air, and I keep walking until I reach my car in the parking garage. I sit behind the wheel for a long time, not moving. My phone buzzes. A text from Thomas. "Dad, I'm sorry. Victoria's upset. Can we talk?" I delete it. Another buzz. Victoria this time. "You're going to regret this." I stare at those words for a full minute. Then I make a phone call. It rings 4 times before a rough voice answers. "Yeah?" "It's Frank Mitchell." Silence. "I need a favor," I say. "After all this time." "After all this time." Another pause. Then, "Where and when?" I give him my address. Hang up. Then I drive home through empty streets, my face still burning, and I start making plans. The man arrives at my apartment at 2 a.m. I'm sitting in the dark when I hear the knock. 3 sharp raps, exactly like old times. I open the door. Ray Sullivan stands in the hallway, looking exactly like he did 15 years ago, just grayer. 6'3", built like a concrete wall, with eyes that have seen things most people only have nightmares about. "Frank," he says. "Ray." We shake hands. His grip is still iron. I let him in, close the door, turn on a single lamp. Ray looks around my apartment, takes in the sparse furniture, the bare walls, the absence of anything personal. "You always lived like a monk," he says. "Easier to move fast." He smiles. It's not a pleasant smile. "You planning to move fast?" "Maybe." Ray sits down in my armchair without being invited. Old habits. He was my head of security back when I ran my firm. The guy I called when things got ugly. When competitors played dirty. When threats needed handling. We had a falling out after my divorce. He said I was getting soft. I said he was getting reckless. We parted ways badly. But some debts don't expire. "I heard you retired," Ray says, 3 months ago. "How's that working out?" I touch my cheek. The swelling's gone down, but I can still feel it. "My daughter-in-law slapped me at my son's wedding tonight." Ray's eyebrows go up. "She got balls." "She thinks I'm a weak old man." "Are you?" I look at him. "What do you think?" Ray studies me for a moment. Then he leans back, crosses his arms. "What do you need?" "Information first. Tell me what you know about Thomas. Your son? I don't know anything. Haven't seen him since he was in college. He's in private equity now. Works for a firm called Sterling Capital Group. Ray pulls out his phone, types something, waits. His expression doesn't change, but I see something flicker in his eyes. Interesting, he says. What? Sterling's got a reputation. They're aggressive, hostile takeovers, asset stripping, the works. Legal mostly, but barely. Your boy works there. For 3 years. Ray scrolls through his phone. He's listed as a junior partner. Makes sense. They hire ambitious types, people willing to do what it takes. And his wife? Victoria Chen? I nod. More typing. Ray's frown deepens. Corporate lawyer at Blackstone and Meyer. Specializes in contract law and mergers. Also represents several high-net-worth individuals in estate planning. That last part makes my stomach turn. She asked me to sign over my apartment tonight, I say. Had papers ready. Tried to make it seem like she was doing me a favor. Ray looks up. Were they real papers? I don't know, I didn't look. You should have. Because if she's the kind of lawyer I think she is, those papers weren't just about the apartment. I feel cold. What do you mean? Estate planning lawyers don't waste time on apartment leases. They go bigger. Power of attorney, healthcare directives, trust amendments. Ray sets his phone down. Frank, I think your daughter-in-law is trying to get control of your assets. I don't have assets. Not ones they know about. How much do you really have? I hesitate. Frank. 2.3 million, I say quietly. Offshore accounts. Investments under shell companies. Nothing traceable to me directly. Ray whistles. And they think you're broke. That's what I wanted them to think. Why? Because I didn't trust them. Call it instinct. I stand up, pace to the window. Outside, the city sleeps. After my divorce, I restructured everything, created a new identity for my finances, kept just enough visible to seem like a struggling retiree. I wanted to see how my kids would treat me when they thought I had nothing left to give. Smart. Not smart enough. I didn't expect Victoria. Ray stands, comes to the window beside me. So what's the play here? You want me to scare her? Rough up your son a little? Make them back off? No. Then what? I turn to face him. I want you to help me destroy them. Ray doesn't blink, doesn't look surprised. Just nods slowly. How far are we going? As far as it takes. I want them broke, humiliated. I want everyone they know to see what they really are. That's a tall order. You owe me. Ray's jaw tightens. Yeah, I do. He pauses. Philadelphia. That thing with the union boss. I covered for you, kept you out of prison. And I said I'd pay you back someday. Ray extends his hand. Guess that day is today. We shake again. I'll need details, Ray says. Everything you know about Thomas and Victoria. Their routines, their finances, their weak points. I'll get you everything. And Frank. Ray's expression hardens. Once we start this, we don't stop. You understand? No matter what happens, no matter if your son comes crying, no matter if you feel guilty, we finish it. I think about Victoria's hand hitting my face, the sound it made, the way everyone stared, the way Thomas said nothing. I understand, I say. Ray leaves 10 minutes later, disappearing into the night like a shadow. I sit back down in the dark and begin making a list. For the next 2 weeks, I become invisible. I watch Thomas and Victoria like a ghost. I learn their patterns, where they eat breakfast, which gym Victoria uses. When Thomas leaves for work, I follow them at a distance, always careful, always patient. Ray does the harder work. He hacks their emails, accesses their financial records, builds a profile of their lives. What we find is worse than I imagined. Thomas and Victoria are drowning in debt, credit cards maxed out, student loans unpaid. They're living far beyond their means, propped up by Thomas's salary and Victoria's billing hours. But it's not enough. Victoria has been stealing from her clients. Not much, just enough that it's hard to notice. A few thousand here, a few thousand there, taken from estate accounts she manages. She covers it with false documentation, shuffled paperwork. It's sophisticated, professional, and completely illegal. She's desperate, Ray says when we meet at a diner outside the city. She's got maybe 6 months before someone audits her accounts and notices the discrepancies. So she needs money fast. Exactly. And you're the perfect target. Old, alone, supposedly broke. If she can get control of your estate, she can stash her stolen money there, clean it, and make it disappear. I stir my coffee. She thinks I have nothing. She's smarter than that. Lawyers like her, they know people hide assets. She's betting you've got something tucked away. Not millions, maybe, but enough. And Thomas? Ray pulls out a folder, slides it across the table. Your son's got his own problems. I open the folder. Inside are bank statements, transaction records, emails. Thomas has been taking bribes. His firm, Sterling Capital, specializes in hostile takeovers. They identify struggling companies, buy up shares, force management changes. It's brutal, but legal. Except Thomas has been accepting payments from target companies to sabotage Sterling's efforts from the inside. He tips them off about upcoming moves, helps them prepare defenses. In exchange, he gets cash. Lots of it. He's pulling in maybe 50 grand a month under the table, Ray says. But he's spending it as fast as he makes it. Cars, watches, trying to keep up with Victoria's lifestyle. I close the folder. Feel sick. These are your kids, Frank. Your son's a corporate spy. Your daughter-in-law's embezzling from vulnerable clients. And they're both so greedy, they're about to destroy themselves. I look up. Unless we help them along. Ray grins. Now you're thinking. We spend the next hour planning. The first move is subtle. Ray creates a fake email account that mimics Sterling Capital's IT department. He sends Thomas a phishing email about updating security credentials. Thomas, stressed and careless, clicks the link, enters his passwords. We're in. Using Thomas's credentials, Ray accesses Sterling's internal files. He finds the evidence of Thomas's bribery, copies it, timestamps everything. This is enough to get him fired, Ray says, maybe prosecuted. Not yet. We're building to something bigger. What? I pull out my own folder. Inside are the papers Victoria tried to get me to sign at the wedding. I'd had them examined by a lawyer I trust. Power of attorney documents, I say. Healthcare directives, and a trust amendment that would make Victoria the executor of my estate. She was going for everything. In one move, if I'd signed these, she'd have total control. Could liquidate my assets, move my money, lock me out of my own accounts, and it would all be legal. Ray's face darkens. That's cold. That's my daughter-in-law. I hand him another document. This is what I'm going to do instead. I'm creating a new trust. Irrevocable. Everything I own goes into it. And I'm naming you as co-trustee. Me? I need someone I can trust. Someone who knows how to move money without leaving traces. Someone who won't fold under pressure. Ray takes the document, reads it. This cuts your kids out completely. For now. Once they're properly ruined, I might reconsider. But right now, I want them to have nothing. They're going to fight. Let them. They'll lose. Ray folds the document, puts it in his jacket. You're really doing this? She slapped me in front of 100 people. My son watched and said nothing. Yeah, I'm really doing this. We finish our coffee in silence. As the days pass, the world keeps spinning, indifferent to the crumbling lives of those who had once been untouchable. The storm I've set in motion is only gaining strength, and yet, in the quiet of my apartment, I feel no relief, no satisfaction. It's as if the act of revenge has stripped me of everything, every ounce of joy or pride that could have come from seeing them squirm. I've been waiting for a long time, planning every move with cold precision. But even as their lives implode, I wonder if it was all worth it. I try to shake off the thought, but it lingers in the back of my mind, gnawing at me. Does vengeance bring peace, or does it only leave an empty hole where something once meaningful was? Ray has been my shadow in all of this, quiet but ever present, his eyes sharp as they assess the consequences of each calculated step I've taken. But even he's starting to show signs of impatience. It's subtle, but I notice. "You're going to push this too far, you know," Ray says one afternoon, his voice low as we sit at a small table in a nearly empty cafe. I'm looking out the window, watching the rain streak down the glass, my mind elsewhere. "Thomas is your son. Victoria, she's a mess, but she's family too." "They crossed a line," I respond, my voice colder than I intend. "They've been playing games with me for years. I'm just evening the score." Ray leans back, his gaze never leaving me. "Even so, you don't want to be left holding the pieces when this all falls apart." "I'm not trying to save them, Ray. I don't owe them anything." He shrugs, seemingly uninterested in pushing further, but I can tell there's a part of him that doesn't quite believe me. The next morning, I hear from an old contact at Sterling Capital. There's talk of Thomas being permanently let go, his reputation so damaged that even the whispers of a lawsuit won't save him. Victoria's law firm is still in the throes of their internal audit, the investigation into her embezzlement scheme moving with alarming speed. The state bar is involved now, which means her career is effectively over. But it's not enough. I want more. I want them both to feel what it's like to be powerless, to have everything they once held dear ripped away and shattered. Ray has been insistent lately that I keep things contained, that I don't escalate the situation further, but I've already made my decision. This isn't just about their downfall, it's about sending a message. I pick up my phone and dial an old associate, someone I haven't spoken to in years. The line rings 3 times before he picks up. "Yeah?" "I need a favor," I say, my voice steady, practiced, "and I need it done quickly." He listens for a moment before responding with a grunt of acknowledgement. He knows exactly who I'm talking about. I set the phone down, feeling a surge of anticipation. This final blow will be the one to finish them off. Once it's done, there will be no turning back. That evening, I get a call from an unfamiliar number. It's Thomas. "Dad," he says, his voice shaking, "you did this, didn't you?" I lean back in my chair, allowing the silence to stretch out before I respond. "I don't know what you're talking about, son." "I'm serious. You got Victoria suspended. You had my accounts frozen. What's next? You going to ruin me completely?" "You did this to yourself, Thomas," I say, my voice icy. "You're the one who took the bribes, the one who put yourself in a position to be compromised. I'm just making sure the world knows what you did." "I didn't mean to get caught," he says, desperation creeping into his voice. "I swear, I didn't want any of this to happen." I can hear Victoria in the background, her voice muffled but frantic. She's probably trying to calm him down, to convince him this is just a temporary setback. It won't work. Nothing can save them now. "I don't care what you meant, Thomas," I reply, my words sharp. "You've made your bed. Now lie in it." The line goes silent for a moment, then I hear him breathe heavily, as if he's trying to gather himself. "You're sick, you know that. I'm your son, and you're doing this to me. You've destroyed everything I worked for." "You destroyed it yourself," I say, the words cold and final. "Goodbye, Thomas." I hang up, the weight of his betrayal still heavy in my chest. The next few days pass in a blur, each moment stretching on endlessly. I receive a message from my associate. It's done. The final nail is in the coffin. All I have to do now is wait. I sit in my apartment, staring at the wall, the silence pressing in around me. My mind drifts back to the time before all of this, before Thomas and Victoria turned their backs on me. There was a time when I'd done everything for them, when I would have walked through fire to protect them. But that was before the lies, before the manipulation, before Victoria's betrayal, before Thomas chose her side. I don't feel guilty. I can't afford to feel guilty. But the hollow ache inside me grows louder with each passing day. The phone rings again. This time, it's Victoria. "Please," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Please, I need your help. I'll do anything. Just tell me what you want." I want to laugh. I want to scream. Instead, I respond with a quiet, deliberate calm. "You should have thought about that before you crossed me." There's a long pause on the other end. I imagine her sitting there, her world crashing down around her. "I never meant for things to go this far," she says, desperation creeping into her voice. "I was just trying to protect us. Protect Thomas. I didn't want this." "Protect him," I ask, my voice hard. "By making a deal with a criminal? By lying and cheating your way through life? You don't get to play the victim, Victoria. Not now. Not after everything you've done. I never wanted to hurt you," she says, her voice cracking. "But I thought I was doing what was best for us. I thought if we had more, if we could just—" I cut her off, my patience gone. "You don't get to justify it anymore. You chose your path. Now you'll live with the consequences." There's a brief silence, and I hear her trying to hold back tears. It should feel satisfying, but it doesn't. "I'll never forgive you for this," she says, and I can hear the venom in her words. "You've destroyed everything. You're nothing but a bitter, vengeful man." I don't respond. Instead, I hang up. By the time the sun sets, the final pieces of their lives have fallen into place. The media picks up the story about the embezzlement scandal, plastering their names all over the front pages. They're pariahs now, their reputation shattered beyond repair. I feel nothing. Ray calls me that night, his voice oddly tentative. "It's over, isn't it?" he asks, as if testing the waters. "Yeah," I reply, my voice hollow. "It's over." He's quiet for a moment. "You sure you're okay?" I don't answer. Instead, I turn my gaze out the window, watching as the last remnants of daylight disappear behind the skyline. The world keeps spinning. But for me, it's done. The vengeance has been delivered, and I'm still left wondering if it was ever worth it. Thomas and Victoria move in with her parents. I find this out through Ray's surveillance. They're living in a cramped condo in Queens, sleeping on a pull-out couch, their lives in boxes. Victoria's parents don't know the truth yet. They think it's just bad luck. A misunderstanding with Thomas's job. A billing error with Victoria's firm. But the walls are closing in. Sterling Capital's investigation turns up concrete evidence of Thomas's bribery. They fire him, refer the case to the FBI. Victoria's firm completes their audit. Finds over $200,000 missing. They file a complaint with the state bar and the district attorney. Within a month, both Thomas and Victoria are facing criminal charges. Ray and I meet at the same diner. "They're done," Ray says. "Even if they beat the charges, which they won't, they're broke, unemployable, destroyed. Not enough. What else do you want?" "I want them to know it was me." Ray leans back. "That's dangerous. If they can prove you orchestrated this—" "They can't. Everything we've done is legal. We didn't plant evidence. We just revealed what was already there. You ruined them. They ruined themselves. I just sped up the process." Ray shakes his head. "You're colder than I thought." I'm clear-eyed. There's a difference. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer. "Dad." It's Thomas. He sounds wrecked. "Hello, Thomas. I need to see you, please. It's important." "Where?" "Can you come to Victoria's parents' place? We need to talk." "Is Victoria there?" "No, she's at her lawyer's office. It's just me." I look at Ray. He nods. "I'll be there in an hour," I say. I arrive at the condo building in Queens. It's a modest place. Clean but old. The kind of building where young families struggle to make rent. Thomas meets me in the lobby. He's lost weight. His eyes are hollow. He's wearing jeans and a t-shirt, no longer the sharp suits he used to favor. "Thanks for coming," he says. We go up to the 3rd floor. The condo is small. 2 bedrooms, cramped kitchen, a living room barely big enough for a couch. I see boxes everywhere, their entire life reduced to cardboard and packing tape. "Victoria's parents are at work," Thomas says. "We've got privacy." We sit. Silence stretches between us. "I'm going to prison," Thomas finally says. "Probably. My lawyer says I'm looking at 5 years minimum, maybe more if they push the money laundering angle." "You took bribes, Thomas. What did you expect?" He looks up. His eyes are red. "Victoria said you did this, that you somehow set us up." "Did I?" "I don't know, but nothing made sense. How did Sterling find out? How did Victoria's firm discover the missing money at the exact same time? It's too convenient." I say nothing. "Did you do this, Dad?" I meet his gaze. "Does it matter?" Thomas's face crumbles. "How can you ask that? You're my father. Even if I screwed up, even if Victoria and I made mistakes, you're supposed to help me, not destroy me. Like you helped me at your wedding." He flinches. "You stood there and watched your wife slap me, in front of everyone, and you said nothing." I was in shock. "You were complicit. You let her try to steal my home. You believed her when she said I was selfish for not giving up everything I had. Because we needed help. We were drowning, Dad. The debt, the pressure, everything was falling apart. So you decided to take me down with you." Thomas stands, starts pacing. "It wasn't like that. Victoria just thought. She thought if you downsized, if you simplified your life, you'd be happier. And we could use the apartment. She thought she could control me, control my money, whatever she imagined I had hidden away." Thomas stops, stares at me. "You do have money." "I have enough." "How much?" "More than you'll ever see." His face twists with anger. "You let us struggle. You watched us drown. You could have helped any time, but you just sat back and what? Enabled you? Funded your corruption. Thomas, you were taking bribes. Victoria was stealing from clients. You weren't struggling because of bad luck. You were struggling because you're criminals." The word hangs between us. "Get out," Thomas whispers. "Gladly." I stand, head for the door. "I hope you're happy," Thomas says behind me. "I hope this is everything you wanted." I pause. Turn back. "You know what I wanted? I wanted to retire in peace. I wanted my son to respect me. I wanted to watch you build a good life, not a life of lies and theft, but you made your choices. You and Victoria both. And now you're paying for them. You could have guided me, taught me better. I tried, for years, but you stopped listening the moment you thought you were smarter than me." Thomas sinks back onto the couch. "What happens now?" "You go to prison. Victoria goes to prison. You lose everything. And maybe, if you're lucky, you learn something. And you?" "I go back to my life. Alone. By choice." I leave him there, small and broken in that cramped condo, and I don't look back. The days drift by in New Jersey. The hum of the city is a distant memory here. I've traded the noise, the chaos, for something quieter, something more manageable. The small apartment is far from luxurious, but it's mine. There are no echoes of Thomas running through the halls, no memories of Victoria's laughter or the silent tension that had settled between us in the years before everything came to a head. There's only the quiet, and for now, it's enough. I keep to myself. The routine is simple. I wake up, drink coffee, take walks by the river, read when I can concentrate. There's an emptiness inside me, a space I can't fill. I try not to think about it too much. I know where my mind goes when it's left unchecked, and it's not a place I want to revisit. I've moved on, or at least I tell myself that every day. But every time my phone buzzes, I can't help but feel the pull of everything that happened, everything I left behind. The texts, the calls, they remind me that I'm still tethered to the past, even if I'd prefer to cut that last connection. A month after I settle into my new place, I get a call from my lawyer, Gary. I haven't spoken to him in months, but I know the sound of his voice. "You're sitting down?" he asks, his tone clipped. I'm lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling. "What's this about, Gary?" "It's about Victoria." I sit up, suddenly alert. "What about her?" "She's making moves," he says. "Her attorneys are reaching out to the state, trying to get her sentence reduced. She's claiming that you had a hand in her conviction, that you set her up, orchestrated everything from behind the scenes." I feel a sharp pang in my chest, but I keep my voice steady. "Is this some kind of joke?" "Wish I could tell you it was, Frank, but it's serious. They're trying to frame it as a conspiracy, and if they're successful, well, it could cause problems for you." "Let them try," I say, my voice colder than I intended. "I'm done with her, Gary. I don't care what she says. She can't hurt me anymore." "That's not the issue. The issue is the media, the public opinion. If they spin this right, it could drag your name through the mud all over again." I let his words sink in. "I don't care about public opinion. I've had enough of that bullshit." "Just be aware, Frank. Things are shifting. If they start going after you, we'll have to act fast. Keep your head low." "I'm not worried," I lie. I hang up, but the tension doesn't leave my chest. I know Gary's right. There's no such thing as a clean escape from all this. People remember. They always remember. Or another week passes, another day in the quiet rhythm of my new life. But then the knock on the door comes. I wasn't expecting anyone, but I don't hesitate. I stand, walk to the door, and open it. Standing there, framed by the dim hallway light, is a man I don't recognize. His clothes are expensive, sharp, the kind of tailored suits that scream money without needing to say a word. He doesn't introduce himself, just holds up a badge. "Federal agent." I take a step back. "What's this about?" "Mr. Mitchell, I'm Agent Foster with the FBI. I need to ask you a few questions regarding your son's case." I look at him, trying to read the situation. I should have known. This was never going to be over. "I don't have anything to say," I say, keeping my voice neutral. He doesn't move, doesn't budge. "We have reason to believe that you may have been involved in a broader criminal enterprise. Your son's actions weren't isolated, Mr. Mitchell. You know that, don't you?" I don't respond immediately. I could shut the door in his face. I could pretend I didn't hear him, pretend none of this was happening. But I don't. "I don't know what you're talking about," I say. The lie feels bitter on my tongue, but it's the only defense I have. Agent Foster doesn't seem convinced. He steps forward, his eyes scanning me like I'm an open book. "I don't think you're being entirely truthful, sir. We have evidence that ties you to some of the parties involved. Money transfers, communications, all of it pointing to you." I take a deep breath. There's nothing I can say, nothing that will change the fact that they're here, and that they won't leave until they're satisfied. "I don't know anything about that," I repeat, this time more firmly. "We'll be in touch," he says, his voice cold. He turns and walks away without another word. I close the door, but I don't move for a long time. My mind is racing. I know exactly what they're after. They think I'm involved in something larger, something beyond what Thomas did. They think I'm part of the web of corruption, part of the machine that was feeding on all that money. But I'm not. I never was. I shake my head and sit back down. My hands are trembling. I feel like I'm back in the eye of the storm. I thought I could escape. I thought I could outrun it. I can't. Days stretch into weeks, and the tension never quite leaves. I find myself checking the news more often than I should, scanning the stories for any sign of new developments in the case. But everything's quiet. The investigation continues, but it's not focused on me. Not yet. And then, just as I begin to think that maybe I've gotten away with it, I get another message. This time it's from the same number that had sent me the initial text months ago. Victoria's number. "I told you I'd come for you," the message reads. "You won't escape what you did. The truth will come out, Frank. You'll pay for this." I stare at the message for a long time, the words burning into my mind. I don't respond, but I forward it to Ray, just like before. He calls me immediately. "You can't just let her keep doing this, Frank." "I don't care," I say, the anger rising. "She can't hurt me anymore." Ray is silent for a moment. "You sure about that? Because it's starting to look like she's not going to stop until she drags you down with her." "I'm done with this," I reply. "Let her say what she wants. Let her scream. It doesn't matter anymore." But even as I say the words, a small part of me wonders if I've made a mistake. I know what she's capable of. I know what she's willing to do. And I wonder if, in the end, it's me who will pay the price for everything. I shut off my phone and sit in the quiet, the weight of it all pressing in on me. The past has a way of catching up, no matter how far you run. The encounter with Victoria lingers with me long after I leave the grocery store. Her words, sharp and full of venom, echo in my mind, but it's her eyes that stay with me. The defeat in them, the anger, the pain, it's all still there, buried beneath the years of resentment, of destruction. I'm not sure what I expected, but it certainly wasn't that. Not that hollow, broken version of the woman I once knew. As I drive back to my apartment, I can't help but replay the conversation. Her words about revenge, her accusation that I was simply an old man, bent on petty revenge. Maybe there's some truth to that, but I tell myself I did what I had to do. I remind myself that they left me no choice. And yet, as I sit in the quiet of my new home, the weight of it all presses down on me. Her bitterness, her rage, is something I can't shake. It feels like the last remnants of everything I've lost, all the parts of myself I thought I could leave behind. The guilt, the regret, it's still there, gnawing at me, no matter how many miles I've put between myself and my past. I don't call Ray. I don't need to talk to him. I know what he'd say anyway. "It's over, Frank. You won." But is it really over? It feels like she's still winning, even after everything. Nadsha. The next few weeks pass in a haze of monotony. The days bleed into each other. I wake up, go for a walk along the river, buy groceries, watch the news, try to distract myself with anything that doesn't make me think too much. But it's always there. That nagging thought. I wonder what Thomas is doing. I haven't heard from him in months. The last I knew, he was still serving his sentence, doing time at that minimum security prison. I wonder if he thinks about me at all, if he knows what happened to Victoria, if he even cares. I think about the last time we spoke, the way he begged me for money, how I almost gave in before remembering why I couldn't. Maybe he blames me for everything. Maybe he's just like Victoria, sitting somewhere, stewing in anger, blaming everyone but himself for the mess he's in. But that doesn't matter. Not anymore. I tell myself I've moved on. I'm not looking back, but even as I repeat it, the words don't feel like the truth. Then one evening, there's a knock at the door. I open it to find a man standing there, looking out of place in his cheap suit and too perfect haircut. He's younger than me, probably in his 30s. He's holding a manila folder. "Mr. Mitchell," he asks, his voice polite, but with an edge I can't quite place. I nod. "Yes?" "My name is Andrew Martinez. I'm with the law firm McMillan & Wells. I represent your son, Thomas Mitchell." I feel something stir inside me, something I can't name, but something old and familiar. The last time I spoke to Thomas, everything was in chaos. I never imagined I'd hear from him again, at least not under these circumstances. "Thomas?" I ask, suddenly wary. "What does he want?" "It's not what he wants, Mr. Mitchell," Martinez says, his expression neutral. "It's about what you can do for him." I step back, confused. "What do you mean?" Martinez hesitates, flipping open the folder. Thomas is asking for a reduction in his sentence. He's claiming that he was coerced into his involvement in the bribery scheme, that he was manipulated by his wife, Victoria. He's willing to provide testimony against her in exchange for early release. I freeze. The words hang in the air like smoke. Coerced, manipulated, he was part of it. He knew exactly what he was doing. Martinez doesn't flinch. Thomas disagrees. He's prepared to say whatever it takes to get out early. But there's one condition. He wants you to sign a statement, saying that you had no role in his actions, that you didn't influence him. He wants to distance himself from you entirely. My chest tightens. I try to process what he's saying, but the more I think about it, the more absurd it feels. Is that what he really thinks? I ask, my voice low. That I'm the reason he ended up where he is? I don't know what he thinks, Martinez replies, but this is his offer. He'll testify, and in exchange, the court might consider reducing his sentence. He'll get a second chance. A second chance. The words feel heavy in my mouth, like I'm choking on them. I don't owe him anything, I say, though I'm not sure if I'm trying to convince Martinez or myself. Martinez nods, like he expected that answer. I understand, but the offer is there. He leaves without another word, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I stand there in the doorway, staring at the empty hallway. For the first time in months, I'm unsure of what to do. Should I help him? Should I even care? The days after Martinez's visit pass in a blur. I don't tell Ray about the conversation, don't mention it to anyone. I'm not sure what I'd even say. I've spent so long telling myself that I've closed the door on everything, that this is my life now. But suddenly, it feels like that door is creaking open again, and I'm not sure if I want to walk through it. I think about Thomas, think about the child he used to be, the boy who would come to me for answers, who trusted me without question. And I think about the man he became, the man who let greed and ambition twist him into someone who could betray everything I stood for. I think about Victoria, too, about how she destroyed everything in her pursuit of power, how she pulled Thomas into her world of lies and corruption. She may have ruined her life, but in the process, she ruined his as well. And me, where do I fit into all of this? I didn't ask for any of it. I didn't ask to be dragged into their world of deceit, but I made choices. I took actions. I destroyed them both. And maybe that makes me just as guilty as they are. It's a week later when I hear from Thomas again. This time, it's a letter, handwritten. I recognize his scrawl immediately. I almost don't open it. Almost. I sit down at the kitchen table, the letter trembling slightly in my hands. I break the seal and begin to read. Dad, I don't know if you'll ever forgive me for the things I did, but I need you to know that I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I should have stayed away from Victoria. You warned me and I didn't hear it. Now I'm paying the price for it. I'm not asking you to save me or to make things right. I don't deserve that. I know what I did and I know what I've lost. I just wanted to say that I finally get it. I get what you were trying to do. I get why you had to do what you did. I'm not asking for your help. I'm just asking you to know that I see it now. Maybe one day we can talk. But not yet. Not until I've paid my debt. Thomas. I sit there for a long time, the letter in my hands. I don't know how to feel. Relief? Anger? Grief? I fold the letter carefully and place it in the drawer. I don't know what comes next. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive him, or if I even want to. But for the first time in a long time, I feel a flicker of something that might be hope. Maybe, just maybe, there's a way forward. Another year passes. I'm 65 now, officially retired, living on my visible income, keeping the rest hidden. I've started volunteering at a community centre, teaching resume writing to ex-convicts, trying to rebuild their lives. It's ironic, I know. Thomas gets out after serving 3 years. I hear about it through the grapevine. He moves to California, gets a job in construction, doesn't call. Victoria serves her full sentence, gets out and disappears. I don't know where she goes, don't care. Ray dies of a heart attack, sudden, quick. I go to his funeral. There are maybe 10 people there. I'm the only one who cries. My ex-wife reaches out, says we should talk, rebuild bridges. I tell her I'm not interested. She stops calling. I'm alone now, completely alone. But that was always the plan, wasn't it? One evening, I'm at the community centre when a young man approaches me, mid-20s, clean cut, nervous. Mr. Mitchell? Yes? My name is David. I'm Thomas's stepson. Well, almost stepson. He was dating my mom before he went to prison. I set down my papers. Okay. David sits across from me. He asked me to give you something. He hands me an envelope. He doesn't have your address, but he knew you volunteered here, asked me to find you. I take the envelope. Thank you. David stands, hesitates. He talks about you sometimes. Says you taught him everything. Says he wishes he'd listened. Then he leaves. I wait until I'm home to open the envelope. Inside is a single sheet of paper, handwritten. Dad, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to. But I need you to know that I understand now. What I did, what Victoria and I both did, it was wrong, selfish, cruel. Prison gave me time to think, time to see who I really was. And I didn't like what I saw. I'm trying to be better now. It's hard. I'm nobody out here. Just another ex-con trying to survive. But I'm clean. I'm honest. I work with my hands and I don't take shortcuts. I don't expect anything from you. I just wanted you to know that you were right, about everything. I'm sorry for what I did to you. I'm sorry I let Victoria hurt you. I'm sorry I was too weak to stand up for you when it mattered. You don't owe me forgiveness. You don't owe me anything. But I owe you the truth. You were a good father. I was a bad son. Thomas. I read it 3 times, then I fold it carefully and put it in my desk drawer. I don't respond. 6 months later, I get a phone call from a hospital in Los Angeles. Thomas has been in an accident. Construction site incident. He's in critical condition. They ask if I'm his next of kin. I say yes. I book a flight that night. The hospital is cold and sterile. Thomas is in ICU. Broken ribs, collapsed lung, internal bleeding. They say the next 48 hours are critical. I sit by his bed and watch him breathe through tubes. He looks older than 38. Grey hair, scars on his hands, the softness of youth completely gone. A nurse comes in, checks his vitals, gives me a sympathetic look. Are you his father? Yes. He's been asking for you, in and out of consciousness, keeps saying your name. Something breaks inside me. I reach out and take Thomas's hand. It's rough, calloused, the hand of someone who works hard. I'm here, I whisper. His eyes flutter open, unfocused, confused. Dad? I'm here, son. I'm sorry. His voice is barely audible. I'm so sorry. I know. I was stupid, greedy. I hurt you. Stop talking, save your strength. No. He squeezes my hand weakly. Need to say it. Need you to know. You were right. About everything. About me. About Victoria. About who I was. Tears are running down his face. I wasted so much time, he whispers, being someone I thought I should be. Never stopped to think about who I wanted to be. Thomas, are you proud of me now? Even a little? I look at my son, broken and bleeding, finally honest. Yes, I say. I'm proud of you. He smiles. It's weak, but real. Good, he breathes. That's good. His eyes close. The machines keep beeping. I sit there all night holding his hand. Thomas survives. It takes weeks. Surgery after surgery, physical therapy, pain management. But he pulls through. I stay in Los Angeles, rent a small apartment near the hospital, visit him every day. We don't talk much at first. He's too weak. But gradually, as he heals, we start to have conversations. Real conversations. He tells me about prison, the fear, the loneliness, the long nights thinking about everything he'd lost. I tell him about my year after his arrest, the guilt, the doubt, the nights I lay awake wondering if I'd gone too far. "You didn't," he says one afternoon. "I deserved everything I got." "No one deserves what happened to you." "I took bribes, Dad. I helped Victoria steal from people. We were going to steal from you. I deserve exactly what happened." I look out the window. The Los Angeles skyline stretches endlessly. "I was so angry," I say quietly. "When Victoria slapped me, when you said nothing, I felt invisible, disposable." "You were never invisible to me." "Then why didn't you defend me?" Thomas is quiet for a long time. "Because I was ashamed. Of myself. Of what we were doing. I knew Victoria was wrong. Knew we were wrong. But I was too cowardly to admit it. So I stayed silent, and that silence destroyed everything." "Yes," I say, "it did." We sit in silence. "Can you forgive me?" Thomas asks. I turn to look at him. "I don't know. Maybe someday." "That's fair." "But I'm here. That counts for something." Thomas nods. "That counts for everything." Thomas is released from the hospital after 2 months. He can't go back to construction. The injuries are too severe. He needs something less physical. I make some calls, pull some strings, get him an interview at a crisis management firm. Junior position, nothing glamorous, but it's honest work. He gets the job. We have dinner to celebrate. Nothing fancy, just a diner near his apartment. "Why are you helping me?" Thomas asks over coffee. "Because you're my son." "After everything I did?" "After everything you did?" He shakes his head. "I don't understand you." "You don't have to. Just don't waste this chance." "I won't, I promise." We finish our meal in comfortable silence. As we're leaving, Thomas hesitates. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Did you really orchestrate everything? The investigation, the timing, all of it?" I meet his eyes. "Does it matter anymore?" "I guess not, but I'd like to know." I consider lying, consider protecting him from the truth, but we're past that now. "Yes," I say. "I did." Thomas nods slowly. "I thought so. It was too perfect, too coordinated." "Are you angry?" "No. I'm impressed, and a little terrified." He smiles sadly. "You really are smarter than I ever gave you credit for." I spent 35 years solving other people's problems. I knew how to solve my own. By destroying me, by revealing who you really were, the destruction was just a consequence. We stand there in the parking lot, father and son, finally honest with each other. "I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I'm better than that," Thomas says. "Better than who I was." "Good. Will you be there to see it?" I look at him, see the boy he was, the man he became, the man he's trying to be. "Yeah," I say, "I'll be there." We hug. It's awkward at first, then real. When we pull apart, we're both crying. 5 years later. I'm 70 now, still healthy, still sharp, living back east in a modest house in Connecticut. Thomas is doing well. He's a senior consultant at the crisis management firm. Married to a teacher named Rebecca. They have a daughter, Emma. She's 3 years old. I see them every few months. We're building something new, something honest. It's not perfect. There are still moments of tension, still things left unsaid, but it's real. Victoria, I learned, moved to Arizona, works at a non-profit helping formerly incarcerated women. She never remarried, never reached out. I hope she's found peace. I really do. One evening, I'm sitting on my porch when my phone rings. It's Thomas. "Hey, Dad, you busy?" "Never too busy for you." "Emma asked about you today. Wanted to know when Grandpa was visiting again." I smile. Tell her soon. Actually, we were thinking of coming out there this weekend. If you're free, I'm free. Good. Rebecca wants to see your place, and Emma's been practicing a song to sing for you. I'd love to hear it. We chat for a few more minutes, make plans, say goodbye. I sit there on my porch as the sun sets, thinking about everything that's happened. The betrayal, the revenge, the destruction, the slow, painful rebuilding. Was it worth it? I don't know. Maybe that's not the right question. Maybe the right question is, would I do it differently? And the answer is no. I did what I had to do, protected myself, refused to be a victim, made my son face consequences. It was brutal. It was cold. It was necessary. And in the end, we both survived. That's enough. I go inside, start preparing the guest room for their visit. The weekend arrives. Thomas, Rebecca, and Emma pull up in a sensible sedan. No more luxury cars. No more pretense. Emma bursts out first, running toward me with her arms spread wide. Grandpa! I catch her, swing her up. She's gotten bigger since I last saw her, growing like a weed. Hey, sweetheart, you ready to sing me that song? Yes, I practice so much. Thomas and Rebecca approach. We exchange hugs. Real ones. Place looks good, Dad, Thomas says, looking around at my small house. It's enough for me. More than enough. It's nice. We go inside. Rebecca helps Emma wash up while Thomas and I set the table. How's work? I ask. Busy. We just landed a major client. Tech company dealing with a data breach. It's challenging, but good. You're doing well there. Because of you. You gave me this chance. You earned it. I just opened the door. Thomas sets down the plates. Dad, I want to ask you something. Okay. Rebecca and I have been talking about everything that happened. With me and Victoria, the crimes, prison, all of it. I tense slightly. What about it? Emma's going to ask questions eventually, about where I was, why I have a record. We want to be honest with her. Age-appropriate, but honest. That's good. And we want to make sure we tell her about you too, about what you did. I look at him. What I did. You held me accountable. You didn't let me get away with it. You forced me to face what I'd become. Thomas meets my eyes. I'm going to tell her that Grandpa saved me, because that's the truth. My throat tightens. That's generous, I manage. It's honest. Rebecca calls from the living room. Dinner's ready. We eat together. Simple food, lots of laughter. Emma tells me about preschool, about her friends, about the cat she wants to get. After dinner, she performs her song. It's You Are My Sunshine. She knows all the words. I clap when she finishes. She beams. Later, after Emma's in bed, the three of us sit on the porch with coffee. This is nice, Rebecca says. Peaceful. It is, I agree. Thomas is quiet, looking out at the dark yard. What are you thinking? I ask him. He turns to me. I'm thinking about how different things could have been. If you hadn't done what you did, if you'd just accepted it when Victoria slapped you, when we tried to take your apartment, you'd probably still be taking bribes. Probably, and Victoria would have escalated her embezzling. Eventually, we would have destroyed someone else, or gotten caught by someone less merciful. I wasn't merciful. You were. You could have made sure I got maximum sentences. Could have made sure the conditions were worse. But you didn't. You let the system work. And when I got out, you were there. Rebecca reaches over, squeezes my hand. Thank you for giving me the man I married, the real Thomas, not the person he was pretending to be. I squeeze back. We sit there until late, talking about everything and nothing. When they leave Sunday afternoon, Emma makes me promise to visit soon. I promise. I watch their car disappear down the road. Then I go back inside my small, quiet house. Another year passes. I'm slowing down now. 71. My knees ache. I need reading glasses. The stairs are harder than they used to be. But I'm content. Thomas calls every week. Emma sends me drawings she makes at school. Rebecca invites me to every holiday. I've built a life that's small but real. One afternoon, I'm at a coffee shop when I see her. Victoria. She's older now. Softer, somehow. Her hair is completely grey. She's wearing jeans and a simple sweater. Looks tired but peaceful. She sees me at the same moment. For a long second, neither of us moves. Then she walks over. Frank. Victoria. Can I sit? I gesture to the empty chair. She sits, sets down her own coffee. We're quiet for a moment. I heard Thomas is doing well, she says finally. He is. He's married, has a daughter. Good, that's good, she pauses. I'm glad he found happiness. What about you? Victoria shrugs. I'm alive. I'm sober. I help other women avoid the mistakes I made. It's not much, but it's something. It's more than something. She looks at me, really looks at me. I hated you for a long time. I know. Spent years blaming you for everything, for ruining my life, for sending me to prison, for destroying my marriage. And now I understand you saved me. Her voice is quiet, sincere. I don't respond. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Victoria continues. I don't deserve that. But I wanted you to know that I understand now. What you did, why you did it. Okay. I slapped you at Thomas's wedding, in front of everyone. I remember. I've thought about that moment every day since. The entitlement, the cruelty, the way I thought I could just take what I wanted. She shakes her head. I was a monster. You were lost. I was a monster, she insists. And you stopped me, the only way I could be stopped. We sit in silence. Thomas doesn't talk to me, she says eventually. I've tried reaching out. He won't respond. He needs time. I know. I don't blame him. Victoria stands, picks up her coffee. I should go. I just wanted to say thank you, even though I don't deserve your understanding. She turns to leave. Victoria. She stops. For what it's worth, I think you're doing good work, helping those women. It matters. Her eyes fill with tears. Thank you. Then she walks out of the coffee shop. I sit there for a long time, thinking about revenge and consequences, and the strange paths people take toward redemption. I'm 73 when I get the diagnosis. Cancer, pancreatic, stage 4. The doctor gives me 6 months, maybe a year with treatment. I choose treatment, not because I think it will save me, but because I want time to say goodbye. Thomas takes it hard. Rebecca cries. Emma, now 6, doesn't fully understand but knows Grandpa is sick. Are you scared? Thomas asks me one evening. We're sitting in my living room. I've lost weight. My hands shake sometimes. A little, I admit, but mostly I'm just tired. You've lived a good life. Have I? Thomas looks at me seriously. You held people accountable, including me, especially me. You refused to be a victim. You fought back. And when it was over, when you'd won, you chose mercy. Yeah, Dad, you lived a good life. I want to believe him. The months pass slowly. I get weaker. The pain gets worse. But I'm not alone. Thomas and Rebecca move me into their house. Set up a room for me on the first floor. Emma reads to me every night before bed. Victoria sends a card. Simple, heartfelt. Thank you for saving my life. I hope you find peace. I keep it on my nightstand. One evening, Thomas sits beside my bed. Dad, can I ask you something? Always. Do you regret it? What you did to me and Victoria? I think about this carefully. I regret that it was necessary, I say finally. I regret that you put me in a position where I had to choose between enabling you and destroying you. But do I regret the choice I made? No. Good, because it was the right choice. Was it? You're here, aren't you? In my home. With your granddaughter. We're together. We're honest. We're real. That doesn't happen if you let us keep going. Maybe. Definitely. Thomas takes my hand. His grip is strong now, confident. You gave me the greatest gift anyone ever could. You made me face myself. And then, when I was ready, you helped me rebuild. I squeeze his hand weakly. I love you, Dad. I love you too, son. We sit there in the dimming light, father and son, finally at peace. Epilogue. 6 weeks later. The house is quiet. I'm in my bed, barely conscious now. The morphine keeps the pain manageable but leaves me floating. Thomas is beside me. Rebecca's in the doorway. Emma's asleep upstairs. Dad, Thomas's voice is distant. Can you hear me? I manage a small nod. I want you to know something. Emma, she's starting school next year, real school. And Rebecca and I, we're going to teach her about you, about integrity, about standing up for yourself, about holding people accountable. His voice breaks. We're going to make sure she knows her grandpa was a good man, a strong man, a man who didn't let the world break him. I want to tell him I wasn't that good, that I was vindictive and cold and calculating, but I don't have the strength. Thank you, Thomas whispers, for everything, for raising me, for stopping me, for forgiving me. Thank you. I feel myself slipping. The room grows darker, but I'm not afraid. I think about my life, the successes and failures, the triumphs and mistakes. I think about Victoria's hand hitting my face. The moment everything changed. Was it worth it? The revenge, the destruction, the long road back. I see Emma's face, her smile. I see Thomas, strong and honest. I see the man he became because I refused to let him remain the man he was. Yeah, it was worth it. My last thought is simple. I protected myself. I held my son accountable. And in the end, we found each other again. That's enough. That's more than enough. The darkness comes softly, and I let it take me.